Yeah, definitely. Coming into this, we thought Ace could take this pretty easily, but now we have this third map where both teams are actually pretty even on. It's going to be a best of 5 carbon, though. Our next match is one that we have both been looking forward to here.
Yeah, we've been, well, I know you in particular have been really excited to watch, or to get to cast at least AG at least once, right?
He's just gonna stick the defuse. The team flash comes out. He gets the ninja! What a play, Michael Zzxq with the ninja defuse! The last hope alive for Rose. And that's gonna be it. Flipside Tactics.
Establishing what they can do better to work more as a team and as a unit. I feel like they were playing very individual. Yeah, I mean, it was a really great comeback from them, but at the same time, it definitely makes you wonder now what their future is going to look like. My name's Kyle. A lot of people know me also by my alias, Zzxq. I've been a member of the Crossfire community for about 15 years, which is crazy to think about at this point since it's been about half my life. But yeah, I've been involved anywhere from casting to playing since the game came out in the US, and it's really been a big part of my life ever since. My very first cast was actually in 2012. I was still a player at the time, but there was a lot of community events and tournaments going on, and I remember there was one called OCG back in 2012. It was a pretty decent-sized, mostly North American player-based tournament, and they were looking for casters, and I was like, this isn't really something I do, but I had the availability, thought it might be fun to hop on. One of my teammates and I just kind of got on a broadcast, and it was kind of a train wreck. It was actually really bad. Like, my first cast, I've looked back on a couple times and it's absolutely terrible because I had no idea what I was doing, but it was still a fun experience at the time because that was back when esports was very small. It was only really just community tournaments, but it was still a lot of fun. It's just tough to rewatch some of my older clips just because they're so bad.
But they've done pretty well. I think this is probably the most even matchup we could have wished for a third map here between these two teams.
Yeah, definitely. Coming into this, we thought Ace could take this pretty easily, but now we have this third map where both teams are actually pretty even on this map, so it's going to be interesting how this really plays out.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so I would say casting has definitely had a drastic impact on my life. It never occurred to me that it would be something I've done as much as I've gone on to do, because initially my goal was to be a player. I remember CFS Season 1, I actually played in the North American qualifiers, got 5th place in North America, and I was kind of bummed about it. I was like, am I ever going to qualify? I kept losing to, the same top NA teams, and usually to some team with Famous on it, but at that point I started thinking about if I wanted to do this for a long time, what would I have to do? And luckily enough, in 2013, ESL came along and I started playing that, and out of the blue, the guy running ESL messaged me and said, hey, do you want to start, working on these from a casting perspective? And that was the first time I actually had, a monetary offer to participate as a caster, not just, doing it for community events, doing it for fun type of thing. And for me, that's really when I started to realize, this could be something bigger than I initially thought. So I ended up both casting and taking over a lot of the operations for ESL's Crossfire events in North America, running the Go 4 Cups for a couple years there, and that was the first dive in for me to understanding what it could be as a potential career. Now transitioning over the last couple of years, it's not something I would say I've done consistently as a full-time job. There were years where casting was the majority of the work I did, especially in, I would say 2014 to 2016. A lot of that was mainly just casting for me, but ultimately it's still something I do quite frequently, but it's not something I consider a full-time job. But if there's ever an opportunity to do a major event for Crossfire, I always try and find the availability to come out and do it. For me, my current job right now is I work full-time for Tribe Gaming. My role is a senior account manager, which is a very vague title. It doesn't really tell you exactly what I do, but what I actually do is a lot of project management, a lot of working with creators, working on events. Tribe, we work on and operate the Crossfire West League, so all of those broadcasts, I'm not only casting, I'm also helping develop what that league structure looks like and what the broadcast looks like before it's even live as well. Since for me, it's always been, something in my wheelhouse where I want to help craft what these events not only feel like from a casting perspective, but also what the player experience is like, and really making something that the community can enjoy and be a part of. Since for me, I have a lot of good feedback from when I was a player that I can kind of bring into these things and think of, hey, maybe we didn't have this back when I was competing, but it would be cool to have now. And I really try to implement a lot of those things into the West League and the other events I work on as well, even outside of Crossfire. Yeah, so I feel like for NA, a lot of the loss of players has been to, there's a lot of competing games, but on top of that, I feel like we lost a lot of pillars in the community as well. We used to have like individuals running community events all the time, and I would really love to get more of that back, but it can be challenging. I mean, Crossfire, at the end of the day, it is a 15-year-old game here in the West, and I feel like a lot of the appeal is, in the West especially, a game being new and fresh, and a lot of the longevity relies on those community elements. So if there was something Crossfire could add to the game that would be good for it. I really like what other games do in having like community map features where, players and community members can go in and make their own designs, make their own maps, and really customize the game in unique ways. I would love to see that in North America, and I think something like that could change the way the community views the game and really build some stability around players building what they want in certain maps and in certain game environments to kind of give them the customization to get what they want out of the game. And I feel like that's something Crossfire in North America has kind of been missing. That would be a huge plus in the right direction. I would say in my position, I don't think I'm going to retire from Crossfire anytime soon. For me, it's been a really key element of everything I've done in esports, and as long as Crossfire is around, I intend to be involved with it in some way or another. It's not to say I'm going to be, casting every major event every time there is one. I don't think that's necessarily my goal. My goal is really to just be there as long as the community exists, to try and provide value in whatever way I can at the time, depending on how things are going. For me also, I'm kind of looking to develop individuals, even like yourself as well, that want to take things to the next level and really carry that community torch, because at the end of the day, I love what I do. I've done a lot of events, but I want to see, other people have the same opportunities and kind of find those individuals as well within the community that can kind of champion those events in the same way that I have, and make the next generation of Crossfire players have other individuals they can look at in the same way that I've been in the spotlight as kind of the main caster for Crossfire for a lot of NA's existence at the competitive level. Yeah, I think when I look at all of the events I've ever casted, the most impactful moment for me was like a moment that I've actually always wanted to see and never thought I was going to be able to be the person to kind of vocalize that moment. So it's actually the first time a non-Chinese team ever won CFS. My dream when I started casting was to be the person unleashing that moment on the community when it happened, because I knew how impactful that was going to be for Crossfire. And so when Black Dragons won for their first time at CFS, being able to actually cast that moment for me was kind of the highlight, I would say, of my Crossfire casting career, because it was one of those things nobody even knew if it was possible for a Chinese team not to win CFS, and to be a part of casting that first final where there wasn't even a Chinese team at all was honestly just an incredible experience, on top of course, just getting to announce the winning moment too when Black Dragons won. For me is like I said, a highlight of my casting career for sure.
Question is, can they close it here? Root Legends, though, they have the numbers on their side. The utility rains down from above, but every single player is coming in from the global risk spawn. They funnel in, hoping no shutdown will come their way, but Xmas, he doesn't check the corner. Vognsen gets the double kill. It's gonna be Xmas, though, finding two. It's down to the 2v1. Vienna, can he do it? He makes it happen! The golden round! And Black Dragons are your world champions here.
They are the CFS 2018 Crossfire World Champions, and they are Black Dragons!
My message to the community would just be to honestly thank everyone for their participation in Crossfire events and just being a part of the community at large over the years. I know there's been a lot of players and faces that I've seen from the very beginning that are still around to this day, and that's honestly one of the most amazing things to see. But there's also so many new players and faces I've met, so many regions, growing as well. I'd say most specifically, it's been awesome to see the MENA region really growing over the last couple of years and reaching new heights. I mean, there was a time where no one even thought an Egyptian team could make it to CFS, and the last couple of years we've seen multiple teams from that region kind of rise to the top, and I'm really excited to see what the future holds. And I can't say anything yet, but be ready for West League in 2024. I'm excited to see what that looks like and share that with you guys soon.